Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 17th of June already. It's 11 a.m. Central European time. We are back. We didn't stream on Saturday, so first of all, let me apologise for that. I had mild heat stroke or sunstroke, or whatever you want to call it. So the last couple of days, I have had a raging headache, and I've been drinking gallons of water. So I apologise for missing out on Saturday. Today is a bank holiday where we are. However, to make up for missing Saturday, we are back today with a show. Remember, Mondays are always a quiet day, but there's a lot of stuff that we missed on Saturday that I'm going to go over today. So good morning to those of you that are in chat. Good morning, Hidden Agendas. Good morning, Chris. Welcome back to the stream. Good morning, Velvet. I hope you're well. Remember, if you are in chat, say hello. This is real. We are a two-way stream. A funny story, I made a video yesterday on how Solana gets to $1,000. I showed it to the Oracle, and I said, what do you think of the video? And he said, you look like an AI character, and you sound like an AI character. But believe you me, I am real, I am flesh and blood, and I can get sunstroke. So, with all that being said, let's go through what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through what BlackRock has recently just said about Bitcoin. We're going to go through the unlocks for the week. Really important that you watch that element of the show. It might explain if your coins are moving around this week. The Ripple settlement. I'm not going to say I was right, but I was right. And we're going to go through that. Hopefully that'll kind of put your mind at ease and explain why I think Ripple is going to do so well moving forward. Chainlink, is it going to break down? We're going to go through that. BNB, we've got two price targets for BNB. Where do I think it's going to go? Doge, we're going to cover Doge. We don't really cover Doge on the show, but we are going to cover that. Good morning to Solo Sky as well. Welcome back to the stream. Now, what's really important, as I've said this in Telegram, if you can comment every once in a while in chat, it helps the algorithm. Now, we, for some reason, are being punished by the algorithm. We would make content that would generate anywhere up to 5,000 views per video, and at the minute we're barely breaking 100. So something's gone wrong. So if you can help us out by smashing the like, saying hello, stuff like that, that would be amazing. Now, bottom right hand corner, we've still got our $74,000 target. I might change that, but I think we could be there in a couple of weeks. Bottom left hand corner, we are just over 138,500 followers, and the title of the stream today is Coiling Up Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin about to make a move? And I think the answer is yes, and I'll go through that in the charts in a bit. So we've got a lot to get through. Make sure wherever you are, you say hello, you hit the like button, you do all of those glorious things that help promote our channel. Remember, we wouldn't be anywhere if we didn't have 138,500 of you following us now, would we? If we came on here and said we had 4 fans, it wouldn't sound as good. So make sure that you participate. If you've got any questions about anything we say in the stream, drop them below as well, and let us know if you've got any questions at all. Now then, let's move on with the show. Let's go and have a look at the Bitcoin price, 66,000 and change. We did wick down, I think, on Saturday. We're going to have a look at that in a bit, but we're holding at 66,000. Ethereum is holding 3,500, not doing too badly. BNB coming in at just over $600. Solana is just below $150, where I really think it needs to hang out. 145. What else do we have on here? We don't really have a lot to talk about in terms of volume or anything else. Dominance hasn't changed. Lots of things haven't changed. This is why I think Bitcoin is coiling up. And another thing is, when people call for the bottom, it means we move up. Now, I did a very bearish chart on Friday, and I'm going to go over that. I haven't changed the chart since Friday, and explain how we're following my bearish pattern. Now, again, I'm not saying we're going to come down to 47,000. But when you see these crypto influencers talking about $45,000 and $47,000, that's a bottom signal for me. The same way that celebrities promoting meme coins are a top for the meme market, influencers telling you that we're going to $45,000 and it might not be the end of the world, that's normally a bottom sign for me. So we're going to go through that in a minute, but there isn't really a lot to talk about in terms of the charts. Again, I mean, when you look at the 24-hour gainers and we're in single figures, 4 or 5%, and then we go down here, there's only really 3 or 4 coins that are losing. Now, FET, Singularity, and Oceans are about to merge. This price action is the sell-off before the token is launched. So this is a really good price to get into Fetch and Singularity. And Notcoin, again, where is that going to go? Is that a $2 billion market cap project? Absolutely not. It is not. For me, it is an utter waste of time. But there we go. So that's where we are with the markets. Let's move on with some X-Files. A few more good mornings. Diablisky, thank you. Solo Sky, thank you. And Danny, thank you. I hope you're all doing well this fine morning. If I do sound a little bit croaky or a little bit worse for wear, it wasn't Father's Day yesterday. It was the fact that I have had a little bit of heat stroke. So I am not in the slightest bit hungover, if that is what anybody's thinking by my voice. Now then, Plan B, again, love showing Plan B stuff. I love this part of the bull market where some people become impatient and others even think the bull market is over. Again, there's really only 2 switches for these influencers. We're going up and we're never coming down. We're going down and we're never going up. And I don't know whether they do that for clickbait or what. But trust me, I don't think we're going to $80,000 tomorrow. I don't think we're going to $50,000 tomorrow. Bitcoin is slow and painful. And then it will have a period of a few days, maybe a week, where it rips one way or another. That's unfortunately what happens. Good morning, Kishan. Nice to see you back on the streams. I hope you're doing well. So Plan B, again, his chart that he's stuck with all along has been accurate. Whether it gets to where he wants it to get to this time around, I don't know. But I'm with him on the sentiment. People they swing like a pendulum from overly bullish to overly pessimistic. And we need to be somewhere in the middle. Remember, my target is 74,000. I'm not saying 100,000 or 90,000. 74,000 is the target. That's almost previous all-time highs. That's why I think that's what we need to break and hold. Break and hold 74,000. And that might not seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. We're at 66,000. We're struggling at 66,000. We will go and have a look. Good morning, Fran. Good morning, Kishan. If you missed it, I had a little bit of heat stroke on Saturday. I went out. It was 32 degrees, which isn't a lot when you're from Kuwait, as Tariq told me. But it's a lot. It's fairly hot where we are. And I was carrying a very heavy object for a while, and I've just been a mess for 3 days. So I do apologise for not being here on Saturday. Now then, Dan, Crypto Trades, again, one of the more sensible people who talks about Bitcoin and crypto. My base case is that we start pricing in more of the Ethereum ETF over the next 2 weeks. Why? What have I said? July the 4th. We are on June the 17th. 14 days from now is the 1st of July. I think we're going live with the Ethereum ETF in 2 weeks. I have been saying this all along. There are people now reiterating July the 2nd, July the 3rd, July the 4th. I've picked July the 4th because it's Independence Day, and I think that Biden and the crowd are going to have some kind of announcement where they're going to come out and say, independence for all, there's your ETFs, vote for us. Remember, Biden is now having to do a 180. He's realised that Trump's going to win this election, and one of the major factors is going to be, of course, crypto. Biden in the summer, in the next 3 weeks, is going to announce that he will be attending some Bitcoin roundtable discussions on how the government can be involved with crypto. This is a 180, and he's doing it because of Trump. So, do I expect this to be the light, the light to the fuse that takes us on the next leg up. Absolutely, I do. And that's the biggest bullish event in the next 2 weeks for me. We will have maybe towards the middle of July, we're going to have the rate cut, but for me, this is 2 weeks away. So this week, I am expecting an announcement about the Ethereum ETF, and if it's not by Friday, then certainly the beginning of the week after. We are not going to see this drag on and on and on. All of these people talking about the end of August, it's too close to the election. Biden wants to use this in his campaign, and he needs it yesterday. And he knows it, and Gensler knows it. Good morning to Tariq. I am back with my slightly less damaged throat and head today. And thank you for your concern. Your messages really do cheer me up sometimes. So Ethereum is going to be the Ethereum ETF is going to be what I think is going to be the next push up for me. I think we've got that, then we've got a rate cut maybe in July. And don't think that that isn't going to happen, because he said it. Many times they've said one thing and done the other. Now then, this is for Peter, who won't be watching today. Maybe he'll be watching on catch-up. Australia's largest stock exchange, the ASX, has approved its first spot Bitcoin ETF. Again, one thing to bear in mind about these ETFs, and I've said this before, this is like Buckaroo. And if you've never heard of Buckaroo, it's a plastic donkey or horse that you put different weights onto the horse. And you put little bits of bones and things, and eventually the horse will have too much weight on it and it'll kick up. Now, if the UK ETNs, the Australian ETF, the Hong Kong ETF, and all of those other ETFs take 10 or 20 Bitcoin a week out of circulation, and the American ETF is taking 10,000 out of circulation, it doesn't matter if these are only doing 10 or 50. What matters is the cumulative effect. There are 450 a day, 3,000 a week. Now at 3,000 a week, each one of these ETFs just chisels away ever so much, just a little tiny bit, and eventually that donkey will kick up in the air and the price will break. So, irrespective of the news that we're going to cover in the next few weeks about the Australian ETF is only doing $1 million a day or $500,000 a day, that $500 a day is 7 Bitcoin a day. That's 35 Bitcoin a week, 140 Bitcoin a month. That doesn't matter on the size. It's the cumulative effect of all of these ETFs added up. That's what matters. And 1 week, you might have one of the Australian largest mining companies might buy Bitcoin. You might have an Australian family office buy 500 Bitcoin. It's not about the constant drain from one individual ETF. It's all of them combined. We have a balloon that has a finite amount of water in, and each of these ETFs is putting a straw into this balloon. Some of the straws are bigger than others. Some of the straws you can barely see with your eye, but each one of them is sucking the liquidity out of that balloon. So every single country that launches an ETF just adds to the game of Buckaroo. That's how you need to view this. And again, the ETNs, people were calling the ETNs. It's been live a month in the UK. Give these things time. They need the time to grow. Good morning, Peter. I thought I'd put a bit of Australian news in there for you today. I hope you're well over there. I don't know what time it is over there, 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, maybe. Now then, this is my favourite one of these I've done in a while. So this gentleman on the left is your favourite shillfluencer. And I use the word shillfluencer because shilling is when they sell you a coin that they're invested in. And that biscuit is the coin that they're trying to sell you. And they're trying to make you want that coin. And then eventually, they give you the biscuit. And guess what? They go and sell the packet. That's all that happens. They just feed you their string of fake projects or projects that they want you to buy. So that's how the world works, unfortunately. It's been working like that ever since Eve ate the apple in front of Adam. That's just how it is. You want to buy what you don't have, and you want to hold what you don't have. And the most important thing is you don't FOMO in based on what Jason Momoa has told you, or what, I don't know who else, Andrew Tate has told you. That's what you've got to be careful of. 7:20 in the evening, it's not too bad, I suppose. Tariq, do you think after all the ETFs happening, are we going to be able to buy ETH or SOL or Bitcoin? All these ETFs will make it difficult for us after this bull run. I think what will happen, I've called it the last great bull run, and I think it is the last great bull run. And the reason I call it that is the returns on some of these major assets are not going to be big enough for a lot of people in crypto. So imagine this, you've got Solana at $140. Psychologically, you could go out and buy one a week or two a week, depending on your circumstances. Ethereum is getting past the point of being able to afford to buy one Ethereum a week. It's $3,500. Bitcoin is certainly past the stage of being able to buy one a week. And psychologically, people think they have to buy a whole Bitcoin or a whole Ethereum or a whole Solana. Obviously, we know you can buy fractions. That's why psychologically things like Shiba and Pepe do so well, because your wife or your girlfriend can go and buy 1 million Pepe or 1 million Shiba, and it might have cost her $50. The psychology of that has always worked for things and people when they see certain prices. Why do you think things are sold for $9.97 or $9.99? Because psychologically it's cheaper than $10. So after this bull run, I think you'll still be able to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana, but I don't think you're going to make the returns that you can from over the last 2 or 3 years, and that's the issue. But that's not a bad thing, because we need Solana and Ethereum and Bitcoin and some of the other coins like XRP. We need them to become huge assets with huge liquidity in them so they can be used. So I think we can still buy them, but the returns are not going to be there. What do I think of Ponke? I think Ponke is a decent coin, believe it or not, because a lot of people in crypto, especially on Solana, are looking for the next big bonk or the next big Pepe. And Ponke is Pepe and bonk, which is Ponke. I think it'll do okay, but like a lot of meme coins, they will come and go. You will see some of the meme coins rip and then go dormant for 6 months. That's the issue. And I think if you look at what Andrew Tate is doing at the minute, he is burning the supply of Daddy. That burning mechanism inherently makes the value of the coins still in circulation that much more. So although he might not be liked by the majority of people listening, what he's doing with the coin is actually a really good idea. And Milkbag, that we've made a video about, they burn milk every single day. They burn, I don't know if it's $200 worth of milk gets burnt every day, or $2,000, I don't know what it is now, but this burning mechanism works for coins. BNB has been doing it for time immemorial. Ethereum is burning its supply. So the burning mechanism works. Ponke is one of those coins that never goes away. It's always still about. So I don't think that's a bad one to hold on to. Now then, let us move on. Tariq, it's my first and last bull run. Well, if you're in now, then I don't think you need to worry, because what you can do is if you make your returns on Bitcoin, Ethereum and Solana, and let's say, like I said in the video about Solana hitting $1,000, we have to have a perfect storm to get Solana to $1,000. That's a $500 billion market cap. That's a big ask. Are we going to see $150, $250 million market cap? Absolutely. Well, that puts it at $500 or $600. So I'm never going to sit here and tell you a number based on I watched a lot of videos yesterday about price predictions, and I didn't see anybody talk about market cap. I didn't see anybody talk about the market cap compared to today or the circulating supply. I didn't see any of that. I saw a lot of people talking about round numbers. So that's why I went away and made the $1,000 Solana video, because if we are heading towards $1,000, it's a 7x from here. Now, if you do make a 7x on Solana, and you do make a 4x on Ethereum, and you do make a 2x on Bitcoin from where we are now, that gives you an awful lot of liquidity to play with. And that's when I think the alts, after this bull run, could really take off, because we've gone past the stage now of silly speculation. We need to be looking at solid projects. We need to look at projects that make money. That's what matters. Look at what happened when the internet started. Everybody was throwing money at everything. Oh, this is a great idea. Bubble search. This was a great idea. Oh, lastminute.com. Or Amazon. Amazon came late to the party, admittedly. But you need to look for the value in projects, not just it's got a pretty website and a nice name. So I think it's not the last bull run for crypto. It's the last bull run for the major coins. Now, BlackRock official makes a new statement on Bitcoin. An official from BlackRock made a statement about the latest status and adoption rate of Bitcoin. Now, this is important because BlackRock want the world to run on its the beat of its drum. It wants everybody to hold its ETF. It wants everybody to go and buy into Build. It wants the whole pie. That's why we were never going to stop with the ETFs once the Bitcoin ETF was approved. That's why we got the Ethereum ETF, and that's why we're going to get the Solana ETF, because Ethereum and Bitcoin is 72% of the pie. They want 100% of the pie. How do they get there? Tokenization. They will bring real world assets onto their tokenized stock exchange that they're going to build in Texas. Then what they're going to do through the back door is bring in all of the cryptocurrencies, and they will become a cryptocurrency exchange. And if you can't see that coming, I cannot think of what else to tell you. They don't want every ETF under the sun. You get diminishing returns. Where do we go after Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin? Do we go to XRP? Do we go to Cardano? Do we go to BNB? Where do we go next? What would be easier would be to have an exchange where you can just have all of these coins listed, and then you sell products based on those coins. That's where I think they're going to go. Good morning, Bullish Bull. Welcome to the stream. Question: at the end of the bull run, will Solana go back to say $100? If you look at, if we get the ETF on Solana, we are never going to see $100 ever again. That's my prediction. The same way that we are never going to go below $1,000 ever again on Ethereum. It's never going to happen. It would require a global seismic event to crash everything. And believe you me, everything would then go down. So I don't think we're going to see $100 for Solana if we get the ETF. If we don't get the ETF, then of course we're only at $147. If this bull run only pushes us to $400 or $500, could it retrace 80%? It could in a very brutal bear market, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see a $90 Solana ever again, especially when as I said, in my video that I made, I went through the timescales. So July, the Ethereum ETF goes live. The day that Ethereum ETF goes live, or the day after, the Solana S1, or whatever it's called, will be submitted for the Solana ETF. BlackRock knows what it's doing. It's not going to apply for a Solana ETF before the Ethereum ETF is approved and live. So that would be July the 5th. Do I think that we could have a Solana ETF this year? I think that's a push. I think we could get it next year, because a lot of people, and the argument is valid, we haven't got a Solana futures ETF. So that argument is valid. Now, he believes 80% of Bitcoin ETF purchases are made by self-directed investors, likely through online brokerage accounts. So we're not at the stage yet where we've got adoption of the Bitcoin ETFs. He's talking about investment advisors. They're more cautious. That's their job, he said. An investment advisor is trustworthy to their clients. This is an asset class that has 90% price volatility at times in history, and their job is to build portfolios, do risk analysis and due diligence. That's what they're doing right now. Now, think of it this way. If Bitcoin starts to appreciate slowly over the next 6 months, these advisors are going to start to buy in. And I'm going to go through that in the chart in a minute as to why they need validation to buy these assets. So the consultants, these are meant to be the kind of the risk assessors of crypto. Should I offer this to my client? What happens if I offer them Bitcoin at $66,000 and it goes to $53,000? I've cost them 20% of that investment. So that's what they've got to worry about. But of course, he sees it as a bridge between crypto and traditional finance. Of course it is. We are opening up crypto to traditional finance. And if we want to get anywhere, that's what we have to do. Now, before we get onto the Bitcoin chart, I just want to show you something. And this is one of the reasons why we are struggling so much with Bitcoin. So can I have a look at Ponk? I can have a look at Ponk. I'm having a real problem with the algorithm, but I'll talk about that again. Now, this is the dollar index. This is the strength of the American dollar against the yen, the euro, the pound, everything, the Australian dollar. Now, what you can see, since the start of this year, we have been in this horrible move up, which means the dollar is getting stronger. Now, we broke this line here, which was previous support. If we go back over here, let me bring this down a little bit so you can see. There we go. So we broke this level here, which has been some level of resistance. And that level there was 105.28. The next level up is 105.94, which again is based on previous. The stronger the dollar, the harder it is for Bitcoin to move. Now, I know we have stock markets at all-time highs in America, I know that. And we are due a correction. But this dollar index is worrying. Because if you look at this run, when did Bitcoin... And I'll do it in a very simple way. Okay, so can I draw? Let's just draw a line. Okay, so October the 30th is here. You see that? That line there, October the 30th. Bitcoin went on a run from let's call it 30,000, ran up to 70,000. What happened with the... one second. What happened on the 30th of October? The Dixie absolutely crashed. So, for those at the back, the Dixie went from its strongest position in recent times to the weakest position over the course of two or 3 months. What happened with Bitcoin? It went in the opposite direction. So, it took October the 30th, Dixie starts to fall, Bitcoin goes on a massive run. Okay? Now, what has happened since is that the Dixie, wrong chart. The Dixie has done something horrible. It's broken above its bull market support band, it's come off this trend line, and it's just bounced off the bull market support band. None of this is good for Bitcoin, by the way. So what we need to see is we need to see the Dixie break below that line. We need to see it fall below 105 or 104.8. And it's going to happen, but we need to see it happen soon. Maybe when the money printer gets turned on, maybe when interest rates get cut, it's going to happen in the next few weeks. But that is one of the reasons why Bitcoin went on its massive run, because the Dixie collapsed. That is simple as pie. Now, I drew this beautiful bottom on the screen. As you can see, I like to draw bottoms from time to time. And we had this, I think it's easy to see on the daily, I think. There we go. So we've been in this horrible phase now for 3 months, I think, something like that. When did this start? March, April, May, June. Yeah, 3.5 months. So nearly 100 days. And we've broken down and struggled at various levels. And the next level down for me was 60,000, I think I said, or 62,000. I now think it's 63,000. So I think if we come down, and you know, a lot of people think we're going to come down. I think Ben Cowan said we might come and test the bull market support band. If we come and test the bull market support band, we could very well do this. Now that could happen end of June, end of June, could happen over the next week. I don't know. Alternatively, we don't, and we just go straight up again. We have a break up there, maybe, who knows? But I think we're at the end now. I think we're only maybe 1 or 2 weeks away. So the title of the show is Coiling Up for a Move. We're at the same price we were at on the 16th of May. We haven't really moved. We've gone up, we've been rejected. We got rejected again. We broke up to the next high, 72,000, we've got rejected, we've come back down. We should be looking at the RSI down here. We're nearly down to this RSI. We haven't got far to go. The RSI down here was 35. We're currently at 45. So maybe another few days. Maybe another few days to do that. And then we have this kind of run, which takes us here. And maybe we do that. That would be my guesstimate on where we're going to go now. Now, remember, I don't have a crystal ball. I'll say it every show. I don't have a crystal ball. I do think interest rates should have been cut in June or July. As I said, we're looking at July. That's going to be impetus. I think we are going to go up. Right, let us move on very quickly. And this is unlocks. I think we've pretty much overrun quite a lot of the show today. But I will answer questions. If you've got questions, ask them in chat. I don't have any problem in answering them. I will maybe have a look at Ponke. Now then, 25 altcoins have massive token unlocks in the next week. Here's a day bite. We don't need to know that. Right, when it says 25 altcoins have massive token unlocks, take that with a pinch of salt and don't panic. Out of these 25, I'd imagine only 4 or 5 are actually going to have anything more than 2 or 3% of the supply. And probably some of the ones that are on here have the weekly unlocks. So again, treat that title with a pinch of salt. So then, what do we have next? What is this one? What's the title of this one? Is it going to tell us? Okay, well, I don't know what that coin is, so we can pass out that one. Okay, so super rare, 2.5%, not to worry about. Oxy hasn't really got a market value. I won't worry about that. ApeCoin, that has a reasonable value. 2.5%, again, nothing to worry about. We're going to skip through some of these. Some of these coins are tiny. Ondo, again, is it a massive unlock? It's 0.12% of the market cap. It's only $2 million. It's got $1.7 billion in market value. Of course, that's not massive. Aurora, again, not a big coin. Some of these coins, anything under 100 million isn't worth worrying about. That's a fairly sizable unlock for Pixels. That's 7% of its market cap. But again, I think Pixels is more than likely going to go to zero. It's not a coin I will hold. It's a gaming token. So I wouldn't look at that. Again, some of these down here are not worth looking at. I mean, Avalanche, that's a fairly sizable unlock, 2.4%, 285 million. That is a fairly sizable unlock. That will cause the price to move a little bit. Again, some of these aren't really worth looking at. That's it, really. So the only ones to worry about for me, maybe Avalanche, unlock, is something to consider. Now, why is it important to get into some of these coins? Because sometimes the retracement is bigger than the unlock. And again, that happens in the stock market as well with ex-div dates. Sometimes you'll see a dividend of 2% and the share price will correct by 3 or 4%. That's normally a good time to buy that token, in my opinion. Right then, let us move on. Ripple faces tough decision. Now, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. I said that the SEC wanted $2 billion and Ripple unlocked $100 million worth of tokens. Was it last month or the month before? And I said that was to pay the fine. Now, the SEC has reduced its settlement demand from $2 billion to $102 million. Now, again, do I have a crystal ball? No. Is it blatantly obvious that selling $100 million worth of XRP would indicate that the fine is potentially $100 million? Of course it is. So the SEC and Ripple are playing a game. The SEC don't want to look weak. Ripple don't want to look like they've conceded. Now, this article, again, it's the wrong concept on what we're talking about. It's not a tough decision, okay? 100 million. Now let's put this into context. The SEC fined Terraform Labs $4.5 billion. It's fined smaller companies than Ripple $300 or $400 million. It's bankrupted some companies. Ripple have basically been given a gimme, $100 million. What's $100 million to Ripple? When the market cap, what's the market cap of Ripple today? I would imagine very sizable. So Ripple has a market cap of just under $28 billion and they have to pay a fine of $100 million. So, should they pay this fine? They should have paid it the second it was requested. That's what should happen, and that's what's also going to happen this week. Now, I don't think this is news that's going to blow the market up. I think it's going to rip the price of XRP to the upside. Are we going to see a bounce off the dollar again, or are we going to break the dollar? Who knows? But this is massively bullish news. So they've gone back, or they went back to the $2 billion offer with a $10 million offer. The SEC has suggested that $102 billion. I think that is absolutely the right amount to pay. It's peanuts for Ripple. And the SEC get to fine them, and Gary Gensler gets to keep his job for another week. Now, they're not going to reject the settlement. This is a mute argument. It is going to be paid. Remember what I said a minute ago. They've already cashed in $100 million of XRP to pay this, and we know when it happened. And I'm not going to bring the chart up on XRP. Actually, you know what? We'll bring the chart up on XRP just to show you very quickly. There is a dip in the price of XRP, which happened there. That, which is March, that is when they sold the $100 million of XRP. And since then, the price has been suppressed and it has been down here. Now you can date check me, but it was around that time. So they sold off the 100 million. They've got it in the bank. The SEC have asked for it. We all know what's going to happen next. We all know it's going to rip to the upside. The question is, how high is it going to rip? Conservatively, $1, in my opinion, depending on what else is happening in the market. But I think it will go to 94, 95 cents. And then given that there's no more court case overhanging XRP, it could probably break $1. It's going to be bullish news for XRP, but I don't think it's going to be bullish news for Bitcoin. I don't think it's going to pump Bitcoin that high. Right then, breakout alert. Chainlink on the verge of major surge, analyst says. Now remember, on Friday, I was saying that most coins were sitting at very important levels, and that was just below or just above their own bull market support bands. And that's important because we can go way further down than where we are on the alts right now. This period of time has been 3 months of just pretty much sideways, between 60 odd thousand and 72,000. We've been stuck here for a while, and that sounds like a big range. It's $10,000, but it's not really. It's 5 to 10%. It's not that massive. Bitcoin can move 5% in a day. So we're stuck in this range, and alts should and didn't catch up to Bitcoin. In fact, what they did was they bled against Bitcoin, and everything bled against Bitcoin apart from maybe Ondo, apart from maybe Pepe and a few other coins that went on runs. Everything bled against Bitcoin. So we've got some prices. I mean, I was saying to you a few weeks ago, I was buying, what was it called? Near Protocol. I was buying Near Protocol at $5.80 and $6, and it went over $8, and now we're back at $5.60 or $5.70. So we've got those prices back from a month ago where we were buying those coins. We've retraced a month. We've been delayed a month. And all of this is bullish for Bitcoin, by the way. If you think it isn't, then you need to understand, if we go too fast, too quickly, we run the chance of burnout. We cannot just go to $100,000 or $150,000. That's not how things work. The more we try and go up, remember, the more longs, the more leverage that's loaded onto the market, the whales will come in and short the market to death. Look at what happened over the last 3 days. Every time Bitcoin looked like it was going to go up, we dumped because the longs were liquidated. The longs were loaded up on, the whales dumped them. The longs were loaded up on, the whales dumped them. That's how the game is played. The whales are never going to let you get what you want, and they know where the liquidity is. There is liquidity at 67.4. If we go to 67.4, we're going to liquidate an awful lot of shorts. That's the next target. But it doesn't mean we're going to go there today. We might do, but we don't know that. So the leverage is what's holding us back. The markets could move up, but these cascading liquidations just absolutely wreck us, and it takes days to recover. Now, when Bitcoin does that, these alts get trashed as well. And you see these projects like Chainlink, which are absolute diamond hand projects. And they are at ridiculous prices right now. They're not as low as they were before October when we were buying them, but they're still at pretty good prices. What are we at, 14? Are we at $14 now for Chainlink? Chainlink is showing a bullish structure by bouncing off the middle line of a descending channel. A breakout above $16 could push us towards $25. A decisive break above this moving average currently has 16. Okay, let's move down. Right, we'll look at the chart in a second. While the overall market sentiment leans slightly bearish, there are packets of optimism surrounding Chainlink. Again, if we can get above where we are, of course we're going to move to the upside. But despite the recent price dip, a significant 30% of market participants still hold bullish views on Link. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you hold bullish views on the coins that you like? Of course you are. But remember, you're not married to Chainlink. And trust me, if we get anywhere near $100 in this bull run for Chainlink, I am going to be selling it off. Bank of England says 1 in 4 people are now in mortgage arrears. Could that affect the bull run? Yes, because it will mean interest rates will come down. What happens is they pump the market full of money during what happened 2 years ago. 30% of most nations' currencies were printed over a period of 6 months. It then takes years to get that money out of the market. And how do they get money out of a market? They make you poorer. So inflation is a natural reaction to printing money, okay? Anyone that tells you that inflation has been caused by things happening abroad, it's all nonsense. It's not. The only people that can cause inflation are your governments. That's a fact. It is an economic fact of life. Now, what they do is they push you to the point where you can't afford food, electricity, water, gas, your mortgage. They get you to the tipping point, okay? It's like a game of chicken. They then know where the economy is going to break. And then that is when interest rates come down. Now, a 1/4% drop in your mortgage may be another £100 a month. So guess what? You can suddenly afford to live better. And then they wait for that to take effect, maybe over the course of a month or two. Then they cut it by another 0.25%, and you've got another £200 a month in your pocket. So now you may be able to start saving, or maybe you want to think about a holiday. That's what happens. They want to stop you spending money, and they do that by making everything around you more expensive. That's why the first thing they do is put up interest rates, because it affects your mortgage, and that's your biggest bill. Okay? Then the side effect of printing all this money is inflation. That's a bad thing. That makes everybody poorer. So is it going to affect the bull run? Yes, but in a positive way, because this time next year we might be 2% better off with regards to interest rates, and that's going to give people maybe an extra $300, $400, $500 a month extra. So it's going to help. Now, we are sitting on our friend Chainlink below bull market support band. So, do I think we could get to that price, which is $12.92? If we do, I think that would be a great place to buy. But look at the RSI. We are getting to the point of bouncing. So if we do, we need to break the bull market support band, which is 1620, which was talked about. The top of the bull market support band is 1730. If we bounce today, we have to break 1730. That's what we have to do. And if we don't, and we keep coming down, I think sub $13 is a great place to buy Chainlink. We could even come down to the fib level at $12. They're great prices for Chainlink. I think we're going to head towards $100 in the bull run. Doesn't mean we're going to get there. Maybe 90, maybe 85, whatever. But my gut feeling is nearly $100. And again, it's one of those, it's an evergreen crypto. I think it's going to do well moving forward into the multiples of bull runs. So I'm not too worried about that. Right, let's move on very quickly. BNB, 710 or 603. Which way will the altcoin go? Now, aren't we already at $603? Let's very quickly have a look. We're already at $603. Actually, no, we're below $600. And we've broken below 66,000. That's never a good sign. Right then, so this article can be seen as prophetic, because they were right. When was this written? Has it got a date stamp or a time stamp on it? BNB bears dominated in the last week as the coin's price dropped from by double digits. BNB was testing a crucial resistance level at press time. A breakout above could result in a bull rally. Let's take a closer look. Well, we know it's already hit the target. Time of writing, BNB was trading at 604 with a market cap of 89. The declining price made BNB a topic of discussion. Now, I think the driver for the price of BNB has, of course, been the now stake your BNB. That didn't exist before. And I think that's the catalyst for this rise in price. Remember, when we were talking about adding BNB to our portfolio, which was, I don't know if it was this time last year, maybe, we were talking about the fact that it's at $200 and it's not a bad price to get in. So I was buying my BNB around here, which of course you could say was a bit of luck. Because we obviously went on the mad run and we've 3x'd in, you know, what's that, 8 months, 9 months. So it's not done too badly. Now, what happened here is this staking option for BNB has caused us to move away from this bull market support band, which is coming in at, if we drag one of these down, it's coming in at $550. I think BNB could retrace to $550. Absolutely. It had this crazy wick out where it's broken out, and we've come back down to test this trend line, which is here. Now, we could very easily break this trend line as we're starting to do now, and if we do, we've got 550, 530 range. I think if we don't see a move up from Bitcoin this week, 530 would be a good price to get into BNB, because most alts are under the bull market support band at this moment in time. BNB is one of the exceptions where it's ripped to the upside. I think we need a little bit of a retracement. It's got way too excited. It got way too excited. I mean, BNB is like your old grandmother. She's got up, she's danced around to Auld Lang Syne, and now she needs to sit down on a cup of tea. And unfortunately, that was way too much excitement. Way too much excitement for BNB. I mean, it went from 590 to 720 in 3 days. I mean, that's just outrageous for BNB. Remember, it's the third largest cryptocurrency in the world. It shouldn't be doing stuff like this. So coming back down to this trend line is good. We are kind of at a level, if you go back, this level was resistance for a very long time, going back to March. So we are at a very, very strong level, and maybe we are testing this level of resistance, and maybe we are going to bounce to the upside. So we're at a strong level. If we do come down 530, 550, I certainly don't think we're going to go back above $700 or $650 anytime soon. But Bitcoin could open in America today in 3 or 4 hours, and it could just choose to do what it wants to do. But for me, I'd be looking to pick up BNB at 530, 540. That's the kind of the area that I would be in for that. Right then, let's move on. Dogecoin, last bit of the day. And you know what? We've managed to catch up on the show. We're at 11:52, so we're going to have some time. So if you have any questions you want to ask in chat, now is the time to ask them. Because as when we go through Dogecoin, there's going to be a couple of minutes left at the end of the stream. So let me know if you've got any questions. So Dogecoin's price will potentially see some struggle amongst bulls and bears in the coming days. The mixed signals coming from the market suggest that the meme coin will end up moving sideways. Absolutely. I hope it does move sideways. I'm not a fan of the project. So the price is observing different indicators from different metrics at the moment. On one hand, the market value to realized value, the MVRV ratio, suggests that accumulating is ideal. The ratio monitors investors' profits and losses, with Dogecoin's 30-day MRV at minus 11%. Ouch. However, it has ranged between -6 to -19. So basically what it's saying is the majority of people lose money holding Dogecoin over a short period of time. On the other hand, the price daily active addresses divergence indicator suggests selling. This indicator refers to the discrepancy between the cryptocurrency's price action and the number of unique addresses. So very quickly, we're at 13 cents. Let's go and have a look at the price action of Doge. See, I said 16 cents was a pivotal price for Doge, and I haven't looked at Doge in a long time. Let's go and very quickly have a look. See what is to be said about Doge. Right, so this 16-cent range was, if we move some lines around, actually we've come back down to touch that line. That's pretty impressive, considering I've not looked at this chart in a while. So this level here was about 16 cents, and for me, that was a crucial line for Doge. Let's get rid of this, even though that line played out. So the reason that I'm worried about Doge is very simply, it's being printed into infinity. There is no max cap on Doge. It's like the US dollar or the pound. It's just being mined and mined and mined. There's no hard cap. There's no halving. There's nothing. And Elon Musk has talked to the founders, can't remember his name now, Mark somebody maybe, about changing Doge from proof of work to proof of stake, introducing some kind of staking mechanism, introducing a burn mechanism, and basically changing the entire dynamics of Doge. That is what Elon Musk has been talking to him about. Now, let's switch to the daily. I mean, we're not going to say Doge is any different to most coins that are in a downward trajectory. We've got again, look at the RSI, really far down here. What happened the last time that happened? We went on a decent move up. Could we see the same thing again and have a decent move up? If we do, where are we going to come to? 16 cents for me. And I don't think we're going to go much higher. I think with Doge, the issue you've got is there's no utility as far as I can see. I'd never see people talk about Doge. I never see X talk about Doge. It's just there, and it shouldn't be in the top 10. There's a couple of coins, Toncoin, Doge, they shouldn't be there. They just shouldn't be in. They're not a top 10 currency, and I think it's a fraud on crypto because there's no inherent value with Dogecoin. And I know cryptocurrency has several tenants that match money, and I get all that. But for me, Doge is just an absolute, it's a fraud, and it shouldn't be there. And there's lots of things keeping it there. There are lots of people that have been holding Doge for a very long time, but it's just not a project I'm into, and not a project I'm into. Right then, have you looked into the 18.6 property cycle, and how would you get ready to take advantage? Well, believe it or not, we are heading into the peak of the 18.6 year property cycle, and that's next year or this year or next year. We're at the peak of it. It plays out. There's other cycles that you can look at as well. There's the stock market cycle, and I think the stock market crashes every 8 or 9 years. And again, it comes back to when we looked at Fibonacci, and Fibonacci is a naturally occurring pattern. And because it's a naturally occurring pattern, we are also part of nature. So we follow those patterns. Economic cycles follow those patterns. We've got 4-year election campaigns. There's lots of patterns to look at, and this sounds crazy, but if anybody has ever looked at the Lunar model, and Peter might like this one, crypto especially, if you plot crypto against the lunar cycle, you will not believe the effect that the lunar cycles have, not lunar cycles have on crypto, but have on individuals. Maybe I'll try and find the chart. There is a chart on TradingView that shows you the lunar cycles. I'll try and find that for tomorrow, because everything is interconnected. But the property boom, we can see the problem with property right now, especially in America. People can't afford to buy houses. And it's got to the point people can't afford to buy houses, and the people in those houses can't afford to pay the mortgages. And it's not just happened in America. If you look at, I think it's somewhere like Canada or New Zealand. Canada is astronomical to live in the centre of places like Toronto. And the properties are tiny. So I think we're getting to the point of the cycle where property has done really well, and I think it's time for a price drop, just to make wage inflation has to catch up with property prices, and that has to break, because property is too expensive for the average person, and governments aren't doing anything about it. And in fact, in America, the government has allowed BlackRock to buy up, I don't know, tens or hundreds of thousands of property and then rent them out. Well, that's just going to kill future generations of wealth. Convex Finance, CVX, is up 68% on the week. Isn't that one of the ones we looked at? I think it was, wasn't it? Didn't we look at CVX? I think we did. Wow. That has shot up. I don't even think I'm looking at the right thing, to be honest. Hang on. Let's have a see. Is it that one, maybe? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong chart. Oh no, I'm looking at the right chart. That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't know when we made our video, but that's not a bad return. That is decent. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good, I must admit. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. That's a fact. So is there bullish news about CVX that's come out? Do we know? I imagine, given that that's a God candle, that's not bad. One thing I would say is if you are up massively on some of these tokens, it's never a bad thing to take some profits, because what I would expect, and again, I am not a soothsayer here, but what I would expect is, because it's ripped to the upside, you should see something like this. Hang on a second. I would expect some kind of action like that. So if you've got some here, and again, you've got to look at other things. Look at the market cap, look at trading volume, look at those other things. But when you've had such a rip up, it normally corrects to the downside. And then what it will do is it's going to find a price, maybe around here, where it does that before moving on its next leg up. But this looks like it's entering profit-taking stages for me. We've looked at it before with meme coins and other coins as well. They rip to the upside, take some profits, wait for it to retrace, and then you either buy the same amount again, or you take your profit and put that in, and you end up with more tokens. That's how I would play it out. Venus and Wing will do the same like Convex in the short term. Yeah, I'm sure they both will. I am sure they both will. There's no reason why they will not rip to the upside at all. Certainly not. Right, it is 12:01. We've come to the end of the show. Any more questions before we go? I am back tomorrow at 11. I think it's a bank holiday today, so I think the Oracle is doing their trading show. I don't know if he's doing it tomorrow at 5 p.m. I think it's tomorrow at 5 p.m, not today. So there'll be no trading show tonight. That'll be tomorrow. I will be back at 11 o'clock. I am going to make a video. For those of you watching, if you want to know how we get to $1,000 on Solana, I have made a video about it. If you could go and watch that video and leave a comment, that would be greatly appreciated. We have got some kind of problem with the algorithm where our videos are not being recommended. And recommended generates about 70% of your traffic. So we're not hitting recommended. We were getting 2,000, 3,000 for a good video. Now we're barely breaking 100. It's brutal at the minute, and it's been going on since about the 18th of May. Some people tell me that these things happen for a month and then it comes out of the algorithm. I've checked all the things that Peter's told me to check, and it seems to be fine. But I will do Ponk. I think I will have a look at Ponk for you, certainly. If you are new here, smash the like button, say hello, make sure to follow us. We are going to be streaming on camera more once I've got the setup properly. I am starting to appear on our videos now, but to try and do it on a live stream is a bit difficult because I'm doing everything, which includes phones, laptop, TV. I know other people can do it exceptionally well, but I am not other people. I am trying to get to the point where I am on camera for the majority of the show. But we will get there. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it did take 1,600 years to collapse. So once we get it set up and running, it should be up and running properly. With all that being said, let's very quickly, before we go back and have a look at Bitcoin and see if we really are on the way down, which that doesn't look good, does it? Let me go to the 4-hour daily. Let's see where we're going to go. I mean, we've broken pretty much. I mean, that for me, 63,000, that's calling. It's calling. And further down below here, we've got 60,700. So, I mean, they're the two targets for me, but we don't really want to be breaking that bull market support band. That's, I mean, we can potentially do this. And maybe that's what happens. But I don't think we're going to go down to 47,000. I certainly don't think that's going to happen. We've got too much bullish news to go to 47,000. I think we will hold above 60 if we do come down. But again, the markets could open and we could absolutely tank, or the markets could open and we could absolutely rip. Again, it depends what the ETFs want to do. That's the issue. Right, that's it. I'm done. Thank you to all of you for watching. Remember, follow us, help us out. We are struggling at the minute, and I don't know how to get out of that algorithm issue. So anything you can do to help, such as smashing the like button, is going to help us. And if we do come to the downside, don't worry. 63,000 is not that far away. It's less than 5% away. We could see that today. Don't panic about that. Remember, when you panic, you just need to zoom out and just remember where we are. We are all the way up there. Okay, and we've come all the way from down there. We were at 30,000, 27,000. If somebody said to you in October that we were going to be at $65,690 today, you'd have snapped their hands off. So don't think that this kind of price action is a worry, because we came down, touched the bull market support band, we're going to do it again, and guess what? We're going to be at that $74,000 target before you can say Peter is an Aussie. There. Right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you to everybody in chat. I'll see you all in the morning. Take care, everybody. I'm off to make a video about Ponk, because I haven't actually looked at Ponk, but I will go make a video about it. Remember, don't panic. 63,000 is what we're likely to bounce off. If we come down, 61,000 is next. But we are going to bounce soon. We are at the end of this correction, and nothing goes up or down forever. So until tomorrow, guys, take care.